Hello together, welcome to a new video here on the Multiplex YouTube channel. Today we have a workshop about the new Wingstabi Evolution. First of all, I want to thank my boss Lukas Nakia who enabled this project. And I also want to thank Steffen Hehn, who is the developer of the Wingstabi Evolution. I will show you how to set it up and also how to use it. So have fun with the workshop. So let's get straight into the topic. The ones who already saw my videos in the past know that I prepared a presentation at PowerPoint for you. We will log into the 4 points. Point 1, why we have Wingstabi Evolution. Point 2, we will look at the Wingstabi Evolution at the variants Easy Control and Evolution Classic. Point 3, we will have a look on the new features in the Wingstabi Evolution Easy Control. And point 4, we will have a look at the new features in Wingstabi Evolution Classic mode. Why did we develop Wingstabi Evolution? Of course, we had a continuous development of the Wingstabi since the market launch in 2015. We went to several air shows, talked to a lot of pilots, also to Multiplex team pilots. Where are the advantages of the Wingstabi? And where could we do some improvements of the Wingstabi? We also had a look on several types of aircrafts, on gliders, on jet planes, on aerobatic planes, on scale planes. We looked where the Wingstabi works well and where are some points to improve it. What came out was a huge list of improvements what we all implemented in the Wingstabi Evolution. We also have a greatly improved regulation and a reduced latency. If you were asking yourself what is latency, I will explain it to you. The latency is the time your system, that means the Wingstabi, needs to convert the input signals from your transmitter and also the information of the orientation to the output signals of your servo. The next point was a real important thing for me. We have a free update option for all previous Wingstabi devices. That means if you bought a Wingstabi in 2016, you can update it for free to Wingstabi Evolution. The next feature of the Wingstabi Evolution is one of the main features. These are the optimized default settings. That means you can run your aircraft really out of the box without doing many adjustments with the new optimized default settings. It is important to know that you only have the optimized default settings if you have flashed your Wingstabi to the latest version of Wingstabi Evolution. Otherwise, you can also do this manually. For example, if you have an older version like the Wingstabi Classic 1.3.7. How to do this, I will show you. The new optimized standard values you will find when you go to the Multiplex homepage, then downloads, and then the operating instructions, Wingstabi Evolution new functions. Then you will find it if you go into one of the last pages. Then you will find our new recommended offset values. For example, also our new low pass filter value and our new gyro suspension. Just go through all of the values step by step, take your time, and then the fun part begins. Another new point is the extended third-party support of Wingstabi Evolution. That means your Wingstabi will work with Spectrum products that support SRXL, and it will also work with S-Bus variants like FR-Sky. And last but not least, there are really a lot of great new functions that come with the Wingstabi Evolution. These new functions make the Wingstabi Evolution very unique because no other gyro at the market support these new functions. So before we get to the details, a little overview about the basics. Principle, even at Wingstabi Evolution, nothing has changed. We still have our Easy Control and also our Classic variant. The only new thing that is, every new Wingstabi Evolution that you will buy comes automatically with the Easy Control variant. That means, as before, the model is completely programmed on the transmitter. You will need a free channel for the gain, and you will have a really easy setup. You can use, but you won't need your computer. You can also do it without it, but you can also use the mobile launcher with a smartphone. Like before, you can switch between easy control and classic and also back. At the Evolution Classic system, the model is like before nearly complete programmed at the Wingstabi. That means all your servo values you will program direct at the classic version. You will need 2 free channels. One of them assigns a free proportional encoder and the other one will assign a free 3-point switch. The classic system is more complex than the easy control, but you will solve every problem with the classic system. So let's take a further look into the Wingstabi Evolution. We start with the easy control variant of the Wingstabi Evolution and go direct to the basic setup at the Multiplex launcher. So when we start our Wingstabi and our Multiplex launcher, we get direct to the device information. So what's new about the Wingstabi Evolution? The first thing that we see here in the headline is that the display shows version 2.1.0. That means this is the Evolution variant. The next thing that we see, in my case, I have a Wingstabi RX16 with a dual receiver and a hardwire 1.1. So when we switch through the menu points, at the menu point general settings and also receiver and also servo settings, nothing has changed. Important to know, at sensor, with our new standard settings, you see when you switch from basic to the extended menu options that our standard value for the low pass filter is 20 Hz. I recommend to set always these value to 20 if you import your settings from an older Wingstabi version. General information if you use the classic version, an import of older settings to Evolution will be possible without any problem, but at the easy control variant we have changed too much to do this. So let's get straight into the next menu points. The next menu point is the flight mode. Flight mode 1 is like in older versions, always the damping mode as standard. So our new standard offset gain settings are 0 for the aileron, 5 for the elevator and 25 for rudder. These standard values of the gain offset fits for almost every type of aircraft. The new standard values for the gain offset are not just in the damping mode, also in flight mode 2, the heading hold mode. So the new standard values were not just the only new thing at the Wingstabi Evolution. For the next steps I will show you the new features, axis coupling and also the stop function. The axis coupling and the stop function you will find at the extended options of your flight mode. So let's start with the axis coupling. This is kind of an intelligent combi switch. That means it will feel if you slope your aircraft into the curve with the aileron, and it will reduce the gain of the rudder to get a much more natural flight. As a standard value, I recommend to set it to 40 right for the start, that you will feel the right effect. The axis coupling is really perfect for the use in scale planes, warbirds and also for gliders. The next feature of the Wingstabi Evolution is a really mighty feature. It's called the stop function. With the stop function you can influence the stop characteristic of every single control function separately. That means it will influence the flight feeling. You get a much more natural flight behavior. For example, you will see this if you fly a 4-point roll. It will also decrease the swinging up, especially if you have a really high gain value, and this will help you very much. The standard values for the stop behavior for the aileron is set to 4. For the elevator and the rudder is it set to 2. So if you want to make your stop more soft, you will have to increase this value. If you want to make your stop harder, you will have to decrease it. The next function I want to explain to you is the speed dependent control. This function is patented by the company PowerBox Systems. So special thanks to the guys of PowerBox Systems that you allowed us to use this real cool function. It's very helpful for the use in aircrafts with a high speed range and big rudders, like aerobatic planes. With this function, you always get perfect stabilization in every flight mode, independent if you have a high speed flight or you in landing. I personally swear on this function because it makes the stabilization so much better. You always get the most out of it in every situation. This is also the reason I don't only use it in aerobatic planes, I also use it in jets or also scale planes. As telemetry sensors, you can use the GPS sensor or also the true airspeed sensor. To show you how this function works and how it will be adjusted, I prepared a little diagram. So to adjust this function, you have two values. The one is the maximum speed, in this case 100 km per hour, and the second value to adjust is the reduction factor. I set it in this example to 50. That means if you set a standard gain value of 100, you will have at the speed of 100 km per hour a reduced gain value to 50. If you fly faster than 100 km per hour, your gain value will remain because you set it your maximum speed at 100 km per hour, independent how fast you fly in real. Your maximum gain you will have with 0 speed, and every gain value between these two speeds will be set at proportional to the speed. For example, if you fly with a speed of 50 km per hour, you will have a gain value of 75. So I think now it's the time to show you in the Multiplex launcher how these settings will be made. To activate your speed dependent control, you have to go in the Multiplex launcher to the menu point General Settings. Then you have to choose the right sensor address. That means the address that you already selected for your GPS sensor or your true airspeed sensor. After you have selected this address, you have to confirm this here on the upper bottom. Then go to the flight mode, switch from basic to the extended menu options, and then you will see that we will have a new field right here that's called speed dependent controlling. With the field gain reduction, this is the value that I already explained a few minutes before. We see a good start value as 60, and that's all how to start the speed dependent control. So what's also new about Wingstabi Evolution is the separate gain channel for the elevator, rudder and also the aileron. This is a function that we already know from the Wingstabi Classic system. I will show you how to activate in the easy control variant. You will have to go to the menu point Receiver and then switch from the basic menu options to the extended menu options, and then additional to your gain channel that you already assigned in the initializing process of the Wingstabi, you can assign a separate gain channel for the elevator and the rudder, so you have a gain channel for each control function, the elevator, the rudder and the aileron. Last but not least, another new function of the Wingstabi Evolution is the diversity function. This is a function many of you have put on your wish list. We enable this function now to set up the Wingstabi Evolution with an additional receiver. So now I will explain how the diversity function works. For this example, I prepared a Wingstabi with an integrated dual receiver M-Link, but the diversity function will also work with third-party receivers of other suppliers. Then you only have to decide if you will take the diversity function at the MSB port of the Wingstabi, or if you will take the speed dependent control. For those of you who already use the M-Link system, you will need an additional receiver that provides a SRXL output signal. It could be a RX9, SRXL16, or also a RX7. The most important thing is that your set receiver delivers enough signals for the channels. To use the diversity function, you also have to deactivate the telemetry signals on your satellite receiver. And note, never set failsafe at your satellite receiver if you use the diversity function. The principal function of the diversity system is that the satellite receiver only gets to work if the internal receiver of the Wingstabi doesn't get a valid RC signal anymore. Then it will switch to the satellite receiver. The switching back of the satellite receiver to the main receiver of the Wingstabi only happens if the same happens to the satellite receiver. That means if the whole time is running out. We have solved this issue this way because every switching process takes time and we want to avoid too much switching processes. To activate the diversity function at your multiplex launcher, you just have to switch to the general settings. Then a new menu point will appear. Here, the SRXL function, you just have to activate the SRXL diversity input and then confirm it at this button as usual. Then if you want to look it up, if the diversity works, just switch to the device information, then from basic to the extended information, and then just scroll down. And you see here this information display of the diversity function. You will see here the primary receiver of the Wingstabi works. You see this here at the green light. And also the satellite receiver works. You also see at the green light. What you will see is the number of data packages that you receive. For example, if the diversity receiver, the satellite receiver won't work, this light would be turned into a red light. Don't worry about the length of your connection wire between your Wingstabi and your satellite receiver. We tested it up to cable length of 10 meters and it worked without any problems. I showed you the diversity function with the hardware 1.1 of the Wingstabi, but the functions will also work with the older hardware. Then you will just have to use the battery data port instead of the SRXL port. All the functions and the features that I showed you, you can read up in the user manual of the Wingstabi Evolution. You will find it at the Multiplex homepage or at the Multiplex launcher. So now we are finished with the easy control part of the Wingstabi Evolution. Let's switch direct to the classic part. Let's begin with the commissioning and the basic setup of the Wingstabi Evolution and also the gyro suspension of the classic version. We have transferred these two features direct from the easy control variant. After we have connected our Wingstabi with the Multiplex launcher, we see the new start page here, where we see the new logo of the Wingstabi Evolution. Generally, nothing has changed. Important to notice, if you use settings from an older classic variant, please adapt them to the new default settings or look them up in the user manual. At this step, I start manually. So when we look up here at the first view, we see that the gyro gain values are the same values as we know it from the new easy control variant of the Wingstabi Evolution. Then at the menu point sensor, when we switch from basic to the extended menu points, we also have the new adapted low pass filter value. Also good to know, in the flight modes at the extended menu options, we also have the adapted values from the easy control variant for the stop behaviors and also the gyro suspension as we know it from an older easy control variant. And we have new values for the direct coupling. We also have adapted the values for the D value. And for those who were asking what the gyro suppression is, this is a function that lowers the effect of the gyro gain with the movement of the control stick. That means if you move your control stick to the end, your gyro gain will decrease. And the relationship between the gyro suppression and the movement of your stick is proportional. The next real cool thing is the roll optimization. This is a feature that supports you if you want to fly a roll. How to activate it, I will show you now. So just switch to the flight modes and then from basic to the extended menu point, and then you will find at the optimizing menu the point roll optimizing. Then just make a switch and then confirm it. And now the roll optimizing is enabled. The next real new thing that I will show you at the Multiplex launcher is the dynamic integrator. So back at the Multiplex launcher, we need to create a new flight mode. So then we go on a flight mode, then with right click, and then we can choose between different types. In my opinion, I take the initializing with the optimized damping mode. Confirm it with OK, then confirm again, then go to the flight mode, switch from basic to the extended options, and then I will see the new field dynamic integrator size. Then I will also confirm it, confirm again, and now I have activated it. With the activation of this new feature, your integrator will be adaptive dynamic to your gain, and this will rise up the Wingstabi function to a complete new level. Also new at Wingstabi Evolution Classic is the support of 8 flaps and spoilers. We won't dive deep into this topic here in this workshop. If you need some more information, please look it up in the user manual or write it in the comments below. First of all, we have to assign the flaps on the menu point servo settings. I have assigned channel 6 inner flaps left, channel 7 inner flaps right, middle flaps left, middle flaps right, and so on. Then we go to the menu point model type. Then we have to assign how we control our flaps. In my case, I switched with a channel. And then when you assign the flaps on the servo settings, the new point appears, the flap control. Then you can go straight into the flap control and you have a huge amount of values that you can adapt, especially for spoiler, inner flaps, middle flaps, and also outer flaps. That means your possibilities are very huge. Another new point is the canard support and the elevator offset. Before Wingstabi Evolution Classic, it was not possible to use the canard as a separate function. So you had to combine them with your elevator or leave them without any effect of the gyro. So with this real cool new function, it is possible to adapt the 0 point of the canard and the elevator to every flight mode separately. To activate this function, I have to switch to the menu point servo settings. Then I have to open the match code right here, scroll a little bit down, and I see I have canard left and canard right. The difference between them is if you just use canard, you use them as an elevator. If you assign canard left and canard right, you have a delta mixer right here. So in my case, I assign canard, confirm it with here. So now I have just to go to the flight modes, then switch from the basic to the extended menu options. And then I have the possibility to adapt my elevator offset canard. That means if I have different flight modes like start or landing, I have the possibility to adapt that in every flight mode. If you want to use the canard as a delta mixer, you just have to go to the menu point model type, then switch from basic to the extended options, and then you have the range of parameters like canard aileron mixer, canard elevator mixer, canard speed offset, and you can adapt these values referring to your type of model and your style of flight. Okay, this is it with the canard support and the elevator offset. I know there were a lot of new points at the Wingstabi Evolution Classic, but let's switch to the next topics. At Wingstabi Evolution Classic, you also have the possibility to adjust your expo parameters direct at the Wingstabi. So you have the possibility to don't adjust it at your transmitter, or you could do both, adjust it at the transmitter and at the Wingstabi, and then both of the expo curves do overlay to each other. To adjust the expo parameters at the Wingstabi menu, you just have to go to your flight mode, and then you here have your slider for your expo. If I move the slider, we see that the graph shows the curve of the expo. The next really mighty new feature at Wingstabi Evolution Classic is the 5-point servo curve. So now you have the possibility to switch your servo curve from 3 points to 5 points at each servo separately. To get your 5-point servo curve, you just have to go to the servo menu, then to the servo you want, and then set 5-point servo curve. You see that two new values are added here at 25% and 75% of the servo range. And now it's much more convenient to set up the servo positions. For example, if you use one or more than one servos at a flap. In the next feature, I will show you how to disable a servo in a gyro phase. It's a very easy but also very useful feature. A really easy example where I use the disabling of a servo in a gyro phase is the vector servo of my 3D jet, which I just want to use in my 3D mode, and I want to turn it off when I'm in landing. So I just have to go to the menu point servo settings, then at the servo from basic to extended menu options, and then I have here the possibility at which gyro phase I want to activate my servo. The last menu point are the extended failsafe settings in the Wingstabi Evolution Classic variant. To go to the failsafe settings, you just have to switch to the menu point receiver, and then here our new failsafe options appear, where we have the possibility to set up our maximum hold time and also to set up our maximum failsafe time. So that's it with the Wingstabi Evolution workshop for today. I know there were a lot of new informations and a lot of new features, but I am really sure you like it as much as I like it. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to Multiplex YouTube channel, or leave a question in the comments below. If you want to, you can also ask me a question at my Instagram account, Dr. Stabi. You can also write a mail to the Multiplex service with the subject Wingstabi Evolution, and you will get directly forwarded to me. So have fun, see you in the next time.